Oh my gosh.
There's some notes in there somewhere. I checked yesterday. There's definitely those in there somewhere.
A minor flashback to 1981 there or something like that. Welcome back to Andertons TV. Dagan's doing his second video with us, and I'm not letting him off the hook with anything that doesn't look like it belongs on a man with long black hair and, you know.
Not painting nails today. Yeah. Yeah, do you want to play some Charvels through Modern Marshalls? Yeah, why not?
Why wouldn't you?
Why not? There's no better way to spend a Tuesday.
Tell me, where for you does Charvel sit in the sort of the pantheon of sort of rock guitars?
Well, they were the first to kind of take a traditional Stratocaster and hot rod it. Like we were kind of touching on before we started this video. Jackson and Charvel, very similar things back in the day, when their own little paths and whatnot. Schecter was a part of that as well back then, but Charvel have kind of always stuck to, besides some of the pointy guitars in the 80s, traditional Strat, headstock, you got the curved body and whatnot, and they've kind of just bolted things to it to hot rod it. Yeah. They haven't tried to reinvent the wheel, they've just put some more spice on it.
I sort of love this idea that, and I think this scene was quite LA sort of centric and then obviously spread out from there. I love the ideas that sort of as you go through the 70s, towards the end of the 70s, you've really got players trying to take what they can do on the guitar to another level. Players like Van Halen, you know, and Steve Vai and stuff like that. And I love that there's this scene of guys who I assume just had pretty modest little, you know, workshops, Wayne Charvel, Grover Jackson, all those kind of guys, that you would take your guitar to and go, you know, what can we do to make this shred faster?
Of course. Because everyone was trying to outdo each other more and more. Famously, the easiest guitar in the world to play was the Strat. So, of course, that's the first guitar to get hot. There was no hot rodded Les Pauls back in the day and whatnot, was there? It was.
That's a great shout. I wonder why nobody hot rodded a Telecaster or a Les Paul or an. It was just like the Strat was the guitar you hot rodded. Whilst I think brands like Schecter and Jackson and stuff have gone on to become famous for having all their own designs. So, you know, they would have done a pointier headstock. They might have done more shapes inspired by Explorers or whatever. Or even if it was inspired by a Strat, it would become much more angular.
Yes.
What I love about Charvel is it kind of never really departed very far from looking like a Fender Strat, but with like a flatter fretboard and maybe some humbuckers or a Floyd. You know, that was the kind of vibe, and I sort of like that Charvel have stayed there.
They're the best in the biz at kind of being understated, because they haven't got to be flashy, because the guitars play themselves. They're so easy to play. I've never played a Charvel in any of the dinkies or these kind of ones, which have been inherently difficult to play.
Did Van Halen go through a Charvel phase? I can see him with Kramers, but
he did indeed, yeah. Again, I'm very deep on the Van Halen lore, but I'm aware I'm on the Andertons channel and there's cameras on, so I will probably get something wrong and get flamed in the comments. But I believe the Bumblebee, the black and yellow one, obviously there was lots of boogie bodies and stuff back in the day, like famously the Franken Strat was a Jackson, Charvel, Schecter body from the bin, a B-stock one, but I believe the Bumblebee, the black and yellow one, was a Charvel. Had a Charvel neck on for a bit. I'm sure there was. They all kind of shared the same parts back in the day.
This is true.
I guess it was all like Southern California. It was the place to modify guitars.
Yeah, but I think as well, you know, Charvel feels to me almost just as relevant now. You know, you've got modern guitar players like Misha Mansour who've got a guitar that's very much like a modded up Charvel.
Yeah.
Guthrie Govan's signature guitar is a Charvel. So,
Yeah.
or you can go back and you can look at the Jakey Lees and all that kind of stuff. And
they don't mod guitars in a way which makes them too frivolous or too signature in a certain way. The mods they do are specific to make the guitar play better or do more things.
Yeah.
Like they don't do things just for the sake of it. And that's why you see Charvels in the hands of some of the heaviest metal players on the planet, and also some blues guys and jazz fusion guys like Guthrie and stuff. Everyone can turn the hand at them.
So SoCal, I'm guessing, is an abbreviation for what? Southern California,
yeah.
Typically, you'd have the scratch plate. You might not necessarily always have two humbuckers. You might have an HSS or something like that. But on these slightly newer, updated for the summer of 2025 SoCals, a mix of body finishes. So the one Dagan's holding is an ash body.
This is lush.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It does look great. We've got its sort of twin brother here, twin sister, whatever, which is the hardtail version. The solid colour ones are older body. It is a flatter fretboard than a Fender Strat, and it's compound radius on here, but it's not so distant from a Strat neck that you really sort of going, oh yeah, this is. I mean, this to me just feels very familiar.
Yeah, I think it's 12 to 16.
Yeah.
It's more curved towards the bottom, flattens out towards the dusty end. The people that say they don't like compound radius necks haven't played compound radius necks.
It's hard to know what there is to not like.
Yeah, every guitar should have a compound radius neck. Like they play so much better.
Look, everybody's going to have, I suppose, their own personal feeling. I have played guitars, I think, where the fretboard down at the sort of the chord end or the business end, if you like, has been flatter than I find comfortable. I think once you're up here, there's a lot of upside to that kind of compound radius kind of idea where the fretboard does start to flatten out. But it's a personal thing, isn't it? We've got some locking hardware. So even the hardtail one has got locking tuners.
Obviously so no locking tuners on this guy because it's got the...
I have seen, I can't remember what the brand was, but I did see a brand over the summer that were putting locking tuners on a locking nut guitar.
I did that to all my own guitars.
And I'm a bit like, why would you do that?
It's because it makes string changing so much easier.
Oh, fair enough.
So it's just purely laziness in my sense. And if you can, why not?
Yeah. We were laughing prior to doing this video because Charvel are making a big deal of the fact that this has the new Floyd Rose 2000 on it. So we're going, ooh, how's that better to a 1500? And of course it isn't. It's basically 2000 is the code that Floyd Rose use for a 1000 series trem in black. So it's a 1000 series trem in black, now called a 2000. I don't believe this is a hip shot bridge, but it's obviously an inspired by hip shot style hardtail. And we've got a set of Duncan distortion pickups on them, which I think through this unbelievably 80s modded 2203 JCM 800 Marshall, you should just give us some... In fact, you were talking about getting a clean sound by rolling it on. This is it. This is the perfect amp to show why you need to do that, right?
Of course, yeah. One single channel, fire breathing, guns blazing. It's a modded 800. Marshall should have done this years ago. Like, everyone's adoring this amp. Yeah. You just play like a G chord. It chugs, but it's got that mid-range, which just, for me, it makes all the hairs on my neck stand up. Especially when you're playing a Charvel film, man.
And we're using all the mods on here. So the mods on this was a mid-shift, an additional gain boost, and a tight switch. So we've got that all switched in. So it's as modded as it can be. Oh, what's that song?
It's Van Halen.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do that.
What are you hearing?
I'm hearing, might be hearing an Extreme song or even a Living Colour song or something in the back of my mind is going, it's something else. But maybe they were all using the same riff.
To be fair, there's only 12 notes, to be fair, so there's got to be some back and forth, but...
It sounds so nailed on though for that. That's what I always, every time we pull a JCM 800 out, and sometimes the non-modded ones do need like a tube screamer or something in front. But there's no pedals here. We've got a little bit of reverb from the Strymer, but no pedals in the front. And it's just the sound of an era, isn't it?
It's a sound of a generation, and that generation made guitar playing more fun than any other generation, in my humble opinion. The hair was bigger, the riffs were bigger.
Look, I mean, take the volume. It's how clean can we actually go? And you do have the option to coil split if you want to. Of course you do. If you want to drop the volume down even a bit more.
These are distortion pickups. See what I can distortion. I think it's the SN in the neck, TB in the bridge.
Can we go a little bit more volume? Where's that sort of edge of breakup kind of?
So touch sensitive.
And have you got that on the coil split now as well?
Coil split on the neck, yeah. Okay, as you can tell by the proper coil split as well.
Go through maybe the 6 settings on the guitar.
Yeah, of course. So neck, yeah, let's. Does what it says on the tin with the neck pickup, really. The clean stuff. Some choice chords in there. It's the percussiveness which gets you. The tone is somewhat easy to get because there's been so many amps that do this kind of thing, but the Marshall percussiveness, you just can't beat it. And I do love a good no-load tone control as well. For people who don't know what that is, because I get asked about it quite a bit, it's notched at 10, so you're not going to accidentally turn your tone down. So
Dagan's talking about the tone control here. Yes. When it's all the way up, you can feel like a notch in it, if you like a click. And the idea is when it's clicked all the way up, it's like there is no tone control there at all. So it's not, hence the word no load. If I was being critical of it, I don't think this is a great pickup choice for a really fat, clean, I think it just wants to go. Yeah,
no, I do totally get that. You can manipulate things with pedals, obviously, and whatnot, but I still think there's a bit of, let's see if I can fatten it up with a tone. Not that fat.
Imagine that. Turn up to a jazz gig with your JCM 800 and your Charvel SoCal.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously hard-tailed, same 2 pickups, but people will know if you're a fan of drop tuning your guitar, quickly going between a drop D and a conventional tuning. Obviously that's hard to do on a Floyd Rose, / impossible to do on a Floyd Rose. So you might want to go for the hardtail version. Other people just like the hardtail because you can rest your palm on here and it doesn't get in the way. Charvel have done an amazing job working with the Fender guys to keep these guitars under £1,000. Which I think is just a lot of guitar for the money.
It's a lot of guitar, it's a lot of heritage, and it's a lot of playing what you like, the guitar that your idols played.
What's your favourite colour out of these?
Natural, man.
You just want the natural.
Yeah.
What would you
imagine this after a few gigs, like a year's worth of gigs? Like Nuno's N4, it'll all be haggard and.
I was going to say, what would you do? Would you just let it wear in naturally, or would you want to put blowtorch it, or do the Van Halen sticker tape all over it?
Oh, I don't know. If I can take it away back to Newcastle with me, I'll come back next time and just show you what I've done with it.
Absolutely. Well, look, there you are. That was our little sort of venture into some new Charvels. I think there's a couple other Charvels coming later in the year as well, but they're sort of expanding this range of Sandimas and SoCal stuff, but it's very, very cool. Should we play out with something? Do you want to sort of do something more, I don't know, we could maybe do more reverb, more Whitesnake inspired. You can just noodle over the top of it. We'll work something out for sure. Anyway, thank you so much, Dagan. See you in another video soon.
Thanks for watching. Thanks, Lee. Like and subscribe.